So, when was the last time chaos took over your day? In a world where it's more chaotic, there's more stuff going on. We're getting consistently overwhelmed with notifications and uncertainty of, what's going on in the news and all that kind of stuff. It's bound to happen. Now, of course, those are the day to day things, and we have to learn how to deal with those to begin with. But what about those big things that just hit you all of a sudden? Great example of this is myself this last week. All of a sudden, I find out that my merchant account got shut down. Now, I didn't do anything bad. There was absolutely nothing wrong. I wasn't doing anything shady with it. What ended up happening is they closed it for quote unquote inactivity. Now, their reason for inactivity, I still have not got an answer for because I'm pumping a decent amount of money through those guys every month. And so there hasn't been, more than 2 weeks that charge hasn't gone through. And I have multiple charges going out through the month. So it wasn't, and they're not small amounts either, by the way. So that inactivity thing didn't really make any sense to me. But either way, the whole way I found out about this was because a client of mine at about 9:30 at night sends me an email saying that he got a notification that his charge was not going to go through because he needed to change his payment method. And he sent it to me saying, "Is this legit?" Which was a great question to make sure he wasn't like getting scammed or anything like that, like somebody trying to hack our system or anything like that. And lo and behold, I find out this is what happened was it wasn't going to go through because the ACH payment they had shut that side off. So I'm reaching out to my merchant account company. I'm sending them messages. It's late at night, so they're not going to answer a phone call, which at the time I didn't even have a phone number for them. I'm freaking out about this because this is significant amounts of money gone through. Now, here's the thing is that I find out the next day what happened, what's going on, and they've got a couple of potential things that they're trying to do to get it reactivated and all that kind of fun stuff. There's not a whole lot I could really do, which leads me to the whole reason that I wanted to talk to you today about this is that how you deal with a problem means more than the problem itself. I know people who will freak out, they will lose their minds, they will be very loud and screamy at people, and it'll completely destroy everything. Now, for me, that Friday, I really had a bad day. I didn't get anything done, and a lot of that was because I kept waiting for responses in order to be able to do something. But overall, once we got things moving along in the best way about it, I came up with three things. And these are the things I use these already. But the reality is, you can only do what you can do. You can't control everything else. And so when it comes to dealing with these kind of moments, you can't remove the chaos. It's not an absence of chaos, it's going to happen. But how you create stability, how you create calm, and how you respond to the chaos, that's what makes you stand out. That's what changes things. The next time something comes up with you is you stop and you think about what can you control and what can't you control, because it doesn't do you any good to freak out and worry about the things you can't control, right? So you create three categories. And if you really need to, if it's this big of a deal, sit down and write it down. 3 columns. Just get out a piece of paper and write down 3 columns. What's completely in my control. Now, for me, the example of that is sending the emails, sending text messages, the phone call once I finally figured out a phone number to ask for him, which is a whole different creature. The things that I could do to reach out and say, "Hey, what do you need from me? What's going on? How do we solve this?" Okay. Taking massive action quickly in order to get the ball rolling in the right direction. What do I have influence is the second one. So I don't control it, but I have influence over it. When they ask me questions, getting back to them as quickly as possible. When they asked me for some new paperwork, because ultimately we ended up opening up a new account, they had to have some paperwork. Okay, we got the paperwork going. So the faster that I could respond to that I can control, or I have influence over, I should say. I can't speed any of it up, but the faster that I can do what I can, the faster I can provide the pieces that they need from me, the better we are. So that's column number 2. And the third one are the things that are completely out of my control. I signed the paperwork. I sent them what they needed. They filled the paperwork out. They submitted everything. Then it goes into underwriting. And there's nothing I can do about that. It's completely out of my control at that point. So that's the third one. You have to figure out these 3 pieces to figure out how you should respond, because responding to the things that are in your control, that's important. Those are the critical things. Responding to things that are influenced by you, those are the things you should also be doing pretty quickly. If somebody's waiting for something from you, obviously you need to get on it. But the things in that third column are the things, don't worry about them, don't stress about them, don't focus on them, because there's not a darn thing you can do about it. So I want you to stop and think about that. Think about that in your projects and something that's going on in your world. If something blows up, something doesn't work properly, think about the pieces. What can you do? What can't you do? And what are the things that maybe you can influence? Because there are things that maybe you aren't the one actually doing it. Say, for instance, specific tasks where somebody dropped the ball on something. That's out of your control that they dropped the ball, but can you influence it? Can you help them? Can you give them a resource that might speed up their process, or maybe share with them an idea? One thing that I do a lot is when I have somebody that's working with me and they're just not producing the way we really want to see it, I will give them advice. I'll give them suggestions and basically teach them what I feel is the way that would be a better way to do it more efficiently, get it done right, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't do it in a condescending way. I don't do it in a, well, you're not doing it right, let me show you. It's like, hey, have you tried this yet? This is what works for me. This might work for you. And then I just share it with them. So now you're influencing that person or influencing that situation. And those are some of the things that can really make a big difference. Now, I want to give you a fourth thing as well, because sometimes you need that fourth one, and it's simply step away. Great example of this. You got deadlines, you got a lot of stuff going on, and all of a sudden your power goes out or your internet goes out. Well, do you have your laptop? Can you take your laptop to a coffee shop? For me, that's one of the things that I'll do is I'll take my laptop, I'll go to a coffee shop, and I may not be able to work completely the way I should. I may not be able to do the fancier stuff like recording videos like this, but I can do some editing or I can respond to some emails. So I just do the things that I can do, or most importantly, completely step away, use it as an opportunity to go for a walk, clear your head, put on some music, put on, an audiobook. For me, when I do my walks, I love to talk or to listen to stuff around Bushido and Stoicism and Buddhism and stuff like that. The different things that help me more in the meditative mindset, because it helps clear my mind. It helps me refresh from the stress that's going on. And a lot of times when you stop and do that one, that's why this fourth step is so important. When you take the time to back away and completely shut it off, go for that walk, try to focus on something else, you'll come up with the idea. Now, in a perfect world, we go back to real, what we call the Bushido mindset is called Mushin, which is no mind. It's where you completely clear your mind and try to focus on nothing. I'm not great at that. I try, doesn't work very well. The little monkey mind starts going and everything. But the goal with it is to get you away from it so you're not focusing on it. You're not using your energy on it when it's out of your control. Do everything you can in your control, then step away, go for a walk, go change gears. If you do some stuff that's physical and then some stuff that's at your desk, go do something physical instead. Maybe go to the gym if that's what your thing is. Whatever that is, the goal with it is to accept it for what it is, do everything you can to influence it, and then let the rest of it happen, because it doesn't do you any good at all to focus on the stuff that you can't control. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. It's not complicated. It's not hard, but it is one of the best things you can do to keep your sanity when chaotic things come across. See, peace comes not from controlling the waves, but learning to surf. I think it's a cool little quote. So I'd love to hear, have you used something like this before? Or do you go through this kind of process? Have you ever done that before where you go through and say, okay, consciously think about, here's the things I can control. Here's the things I can't control. Here's the things maybe I can influence them in the middle. I would love it if you would post a comment, share your thoughts. Has this worked for you? If not, think about a situation that you just did. Could you use this? Do you think the results might have been different if you'd gone through this exercise? For me, a lot of times, those kind of things, I do it. I literally go through these kind of exercises in my head, but I've been doing it for quite a while. So stop and think about it. This is how you can create the calm from chaos. This is how you can get over the stress and not stress yourself out, not focus, not completely let it ruin your day when something crazy, chaotic, or just bad happens. Because the reality is, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. That's by Captain Jack Sparrow, by the way. Get out there, have an awesome day. If I can help you anyway, just reach out and let me know. Take care.